So, where do we start? We start, I guess, by saying that it's 11 minutes past the hour of 11 p.m. local time on the 12th of January 2021. We are live. Again, I'm going to double check that because recently things haven't been ideal. But then, that said, I've been using some slightly different technology over the last 36 hours or so, testing it, and certainly on the last broadcast, pretty much from this same position. I was also more pleased because we're using the desktop version of Haps.tv rather than the app. But on the last one, the sound wasn't ideal. This one, though, pretty much from this same position. Oh, that sounds much better. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's this microphone here that I'm speaking into. That's why. Is that it? Is that it? Let's double check. Rather than the app. On the last one, the sound wasn't ideal. This one, though, pretty much from this same position. Oh, that sounds much better. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's this microphone here that I'm speaking. I know it's that microphone. That definitely was. And now you're going to hear loads of awesome sound once all that echoing and once I've switched this down, which I have now. Yeah, my replay to make sure it's all working. Who's there? Is that Kendall? Demeter? Sorry, oh goodness me. It looks like it could be, if I press that magic button there, it must be the one and only Gold Coast. Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, you see, we're on the case. Hello, Gold Coast from London, England, 180 degrees around the planet. Dimitai, is it Dimitai or Dimitai? A lot of people must question your name when they first meet you, but fantabulous to do so. And welcome to this side of the planet. As I said earlier when we started, which was 11 minutes past 11 p.m. Local time. So it's Tuesday, of course, still just, but of course it's tomorrow there in the Australasian part of our planet. How's things looking there at the moment? I hope you've had a good start to your day. What is it there? Is it approximately 10 a.m. perhaps? Something like that. Dimity. I think I've got it now. Lovely to have you with our broadcasts here. And things are great at the moment, aren't they, on their Haps when it works? Got to say, I was a bit frustrated, and you can hear that in some of my previous broadcasts, so it's probably best not to listen to those. Mind you, hopefully Peter and Pablo and Mark, hope they're doing well and focusing at the moment on what they've been promising, which is a more improved product over the coming days, certainly when it comes to the mobile version, the app for iOS and Android. There's plenty of bugs there. I know a lot of people have already pointed them out. I'm learning fast, but still there are some that are almost like you would say schoolboy errors. And very simply, it's unfortunate, but you know, if someone was going to invent a new car, design one tomorrow, they wouldn't be questioning if the wheels should be round and the steering wheel should be round and if the number of wheels should be 2 or 4, that sort of thing. So the groundwork's been done a lot for a platform like this. It's certainly with things that are about to demise, like Periscope, etc., etc. So what I'm saying is, and I'll say it again in the future, the first mouse doesn't always catch the cheese, and there's no reason that this has to be anything like what the first mouse had to go through. Are you on Periscope? I think I remember you from there. Yes, I am currently, while it still exists until the 1st of April 2021, which is only frighteningly something like, what is it, 11 weeks away? Something like that, isn't it? Scary how the time is going fast, and it might be fasting. Haps, that is. What? Yes. What? Yes. Yes. Haps is a great platform. It's a brilliant platform, and the key point to Haps, and full marks to whichever individual decided this. But the great thing about Haps is that it's a social media platform. It's a blog, as well as being just a back end in the cloud and an in-browser broadcast studio. And that's what makes it different. Yes, I used to be on Periscope a long time ago, says Dimity. Sorry, it's going to take me a while, you understand, Amity. It's a very unusual name. Would you like to tell us where your name originates from? Obviously Australia, because that's where you are. Although, as I said that, I realised it's never obvious, and I should take my own advice, which is never assume, because, for example, you may have been born in Europe and emigrated there with your family when you were young, and it might be a European name, for example. It still might be, but you get my point. Never assume anything here. Just like when I go live at 11 p.m. currently on these broadcasts, then I mustn't assume that it's nighttime where you're watching live, because for a start, you might not be watching live. As we know, you could be watching in 5 years' time, in the year 2026, on a Pacific island, sunning yourself on the beach. Oh yeah, even though it's almost about to snow here in London, not literally in the next few minutes or hours, but we have been warned over the last few days, about 3 or 4 days ago, actually, in Madrid, Spain, they had the worst snow in the last decade, in the last 10 years. And they're still struggling now because they're just, you know what it's like. Everyone was probably walking out their door that morning with their bikini on and their swimwear and saying to their neighbours that they're heading to the beach. And then suddenly they withdrew that statement because they had to find a shore and start trying to find their car wherever it's been buried in the street. Yes, you are from Australia. Yes, you were originally born in Australia, I understand. It's an Old English name. Hello from Columbus, the Buckeye State. Hello, Brenda, to you. Thanks for joining. Oh, wow. Yeah, so Spain, in Madrid, okay, in the capital is where they've been experiencing that horrendous weather. Well, horrendous if you're not an Eskimo, you see, because again, you see, it's all relative, isn't it? See, if you were a penguin, you'd be loving it there at the moment. You wouldn't be saying how terrible it is, etc., etc. So yes, as I say, we mustn't assume things, and I'm glad we got your name sorted out there. And it's something that I'll have to keep tabs on if you're going to join us. Don't forget to share, like, and follow. Again, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay, and if you follow anywhere, wherever you happen to be watching this. But one thing's for sure, you really should, I think it's in your interest to head over to haps.tv on any browser, or go to your app store and download the Haps TV app, because this is kind of the next big thing. A lot of people are saying certainly once Periscope has been sunset, and already it's definitely a favorite for a lot of broadcasters. Again, there are some small hiccups along the way, but you know, once you're sort of aware of them, you get used to it. One of the really annoying things for me at the moment, particularly again, as I was very much informed by those that run the platform, Haps TV, one of the key points they wanted to make sure it was all about is breaking news. But I know we're very impatient these days, you know, to switch your computer on now, for it to boot up fully with a SSD hard drive, not an old style one. You know, within 10 seconds, you have your computer up and running pretty much with all the programs loaded a lot of the time. But even that's not quick enough now when you're trying to go live on the Haps. You know, you put in a title for the broadcast before you go live, and then it hangs there when it says it's connecting to the server, or it's setting it up. I can't remember the exact terminology, but you know what I mean as a broadcaster if you're watching and you broadcast on Haps. Very frustrating. And that's after also you put in a title, you have to select whether you're going to broadcast landscape or portrait, all that craziness. But there we go. Thank you very much for the award. Love these awards. I really do appreciate them. You know, that's another thing as well. The awards really are appreciated at this time, because we're building, in order to produce everything that you're going to see on the Haps platform soon, we're building a little studio. I don't mean physically the building, the actual place here, but I'm going to be out and about a lot, but all the equipment, that sort of stuff, and everything, it's you got to go now. Oh, lovely to meet you too. Don't forget to follow, and please do join me over the coming days and weeks. I think you like what we're going to be doing, a bit of personal shopping, meeting new business owners and creatives, and ensuring that they get their message out there. That's what it's all about, is my conversation with other people. So in due course, Australia, it would be good to have a chat and see what's going on there. Stay safe in these crazy times. In the meantime, though, once again, thanks for that award there from the US of A. It's very quiet on here at the moment. Discoverability, that's another thing that I don't know how many people are working on the technology for HAPS. Maybe it is literally a handful of people. We always assume these days, I think, well, I say I hold back as soon as I have these thoughts and realize that it could be, well, any number of people in this instance working on the app. It could be anything from one person to 111, but I don't think it's the latter. I think it is the former. But still, if we were given some sort of idea as well, then we might understand a little bit better as well when there are hiccups and all that sort of thing. Anyhow, what's going on here? See, everybody, look, already we've had plenty of viewers, but nobody's stopped by really to just say hello or change the conversation or be part of it. By typing, because of course if you wanted to have a chat, we're probably not going to do that right now on this broadcast. It'd be a bit tricky because of the way I've got it set up, broadcasting from the computer over there, which is why it's being rather well, it's behaving at the moment. As I was saying, it's the desktop version, and although I'm watching your comments down here on the mobile version, you understand, just so that I know, well, it saves me having to reach over to the computer to see what's being said and commented, and also at the same time it allows me to, well, make double sure that we're still live, which is all good. But yes, if you've got anything to say, please say it. Either comment on what I'm saying or tell us what you want to know about. Have a question, ask it, because if you don't ask, well, you'll never know, and all that. Right, so what's been happening here today? I haven't been as productive as I would have liked to be on this Tuesday as I speak with you guys and girls and anyone in between, but still things have been productive here, which is good. And what we're trying to do at the moment is integrate HAPS TV with the workflow here for what's going to be happening over the coming weeks when we have chats with various people and businesses and brands. We want to make sure that that's all shared with you guys and girls on HAPS TV. I say you guys and girls on HAPS TV. This is the crazy thing. We're using HAPS TV as a platform to broadcast, but you might be watching on YouTube live or on the replay. You might be watching on Facebook live or on the replay. Same thing for Twitter or Periscope, of course. Watching the volcano eruption going on in Hawaii. I wasn't aware of that. That must have happened in the last 12 or so hours. Fascinating. And of course, Hawaii itself is the result of volcanic activity in all the islands around there. So that's a bit crazy, isn't it, when you talk about a country, an island, that has a volcano erupting on it. It's basically further and part of the original volcano that made that place, Hawaii, exist to this very day. My cousin is there for his 50th birthday. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That's a pretty awesome thing, that someone is in the 50th state of the USA on their 50th birthday. Of course, not a lot of people know that Hawaii was the 50th state, hence the very well-known television program, which was, well, it made a comeback, didn't it, in recent years, Hawaii Five-0. I used to watch the original, loved the original, with Steve McGarrett and Dano, Bookham Dano, and yeah, that was definitely a good show back in the day. But of course, they've brought it all up to date, and I haven't watched so many of the remake, and I should do, because I do enjoy it, definitely. How cool is that indeed? You're agreeing with me, yes, that someone's celebrating their 5-0 birthday in the 5-0 state. And of course, a lot of people won't realise that the reason the police are often referred to as 5-0 is, well, for that reason, yeah. Hawaii 5-0 and all. It's a bit of a slang term for law enforcement. Speaking of law enforcement, I've been hearing throughout the day that politicians are trying to ensure that there's an impeachment once again on Donald Trump in the USA, and that seems to be moving forward speedily and happening as they said they intended. What else has been happening? Over here the police are supposed to be a little firmer now, apparently, when it comes to issuing penalties, tickets, fines for people who are being silly during the COVID-19 pandemic still. And if they are traveling too far from their home and there's no need to, and it's not an essential journey, they'll receive a fine. And that's been coming up over the news. We'll be talking about that, I think, at the end of the week in Shinecast. Stay tuned for that. And the great news is I think Shinecast is going to also be on the HAPS app and platform as well on Friday this week, which is, what date is that? I think the 15th, isn't it? Is that right? Yes. Final answer. So we'll be speaking to Jimmy Heaven, as we have been regularly, all the way from Japan, in Nagoya, Japan, and seeing what's been going on for him at that time over the last, what will be then 7 days. Yeah, since we last spoke, it'll be another week. I did speak to him actually a few hours ago, and he seems to be ticking along just fine. Had a restful day on Monday. He didn't work on Monday. I forgot to ask Jimmy actually if it was possibly a public holiday or not, but there you go. That's another thing, isn't it? Name me one public holiday in Japan apart from New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. That's sort, you know. I'm thinking that not a lot of people listening to this, you, yes, you, all right, particularly if you're not in Japan or you don't hail from that part of the world, I've got a feeling that, like me, you're not too knowledgeable when it comes to public holidays of Japan. Whereas a lot of us, particularly in Europe, we would know certain days that take place, not just in Europe, in our own country here in England, for example, and the rest of the United Kingdom of Great Britain or Northern Ireland. But we would know a handful of the memorable public holidays in the USA, President's Day, Independence Day being probably the one, as well as Thanksgiving, of course. Yeah. Right, look, people are watching, but people aren't commenting. Yes, we know that Ohio is watching, but who else is watching and where are you watching from? That's the question. I wonder. Can I say a big shout out to Mr. Peter Pearman? Before I forget, I noticed that you'd seen one of our broadcasts recently. You should join us sometime live, just as someone else did. Dimity, get her name right. She just didn't, has flown off now back to wherever she is in Australia to carry on her life. But yeah, Peter, hope you're doing well there in Perth, along with Matthew Calkin, of course, and anyone else, wherever you happen to be, if you're a regular viewer. Oh, and of course, we mustn't forget Kath, who's on the south coast of England. If I remember, is it Bournemouth or Brighton? I think we're more Bournemouth for you and your insomnia. But yeah, don't forget, we're not on Periscope forever, and so you're going to have to definitely head over to one of the other platforms. I mean, obviously it's easy to do on Twitter, but why not join HAPS TV? Martin Luther King birthday here on Monday, day off in USA. Oh, right, okay, excellent. I didn't know it was so soon, actually. Yes, of course, that's another one. Martin Luther King Day is indeed another public holiday. Labor Day. What else have I missed? You do have quite a few public holidays. Of course, Easter, but that's a global thing in general. So there we are. We'll leave it there unless something pops up in the chat and I have to repeat it for those that can't see the chat. I'm forgetting as well, actually, because I'm not actually sitting in front of the computer exactly, but I am forgetting that what I can do is press this magic button there. Does that work on this occasion? It does. It's something I'm not sure this functionality has always been here to show you all in video. If you look at the top corner of your screen, what it was a moment ago, the comment there from Brenda there, and it shows up there. I think it might be something new on HAPS, maybe not. Along with her comment earlier on, there we go. It's on the screen top left of your screen now in cyan. So it sticks out and you can't miss it. It works. Well, yeah, it does. Yeah, unlike other platforms initially. It's funny, actually, because I can mention Restream, which is a service where you stream out your content like this to usually to one platform. But, you know, as the technology has progressed, so there's a service called Restream as well as Switchboard, and I'm almost forgetting the name of the third one, which is Caster, but we mustn't forget to mention them. And I think they're probably popular in the order that I just mentioned them, but certainly Restream, based, I think, they're certainly in Texas. I think it's in Austin, but in the state of Texas, USA, is where Restream are. And they've pretty much got it sorted out when it comes to what they do, which is, instead of just broadcasting to one platform, you can broadcast to a service such as Restream.io, if you want to check out their website and services. And once you broadcast to them, they will distribute your content in real time, live, to a handful of different platforms, all at the same time. As I say, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, and others. But they have a chat function on there as well, where all the chat from all the different platforms, if I'm talking now with you as I've been doing, and you can see the chat here if you are on Haps TV, they have a function where if someone sends a comment on one of the platforms, such as YouTube, and you're broadcasting to Restream, not directly to YouTube,